Hi, Kody Kaiser here, and to all of you marks out there, the Pro Wrestling Podcast with the best wrestling talk and best deals is and forever will be right here on Sit Down Marks Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Episode number 155 of the Sit Down Marks Podcast. I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. And I want to thank everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all our friends over at SportsWire Radio. And boy, do I have somebody for you today, ladies and gentlemen, finally coming to the podcast. Well, I'm sure he'd probably like to introduce himself. So let's just let him introduce himself.
That's right. Kody Kaiser here, and boy, do I have a deal for all of you listening to the Sit Down Marks Podcast. That's right. The man of the people, the man with the deals, and America's #1 pro wrestling pitchman, Kody Kaiser. And right off the bat, I have to thank DB for giving me the honor of selling all you have to do is go on and buy 2 of my pro wrestling tees, and he has promised that he will give you part of his stock in the Sit Down Wrestling Marks Podcast. You take it from me. He told me right beforehand, so it's guaranteed. Just got to buy 2 of my shirts, $19.99 each.
You heard it from him. Buy 2 shirts and you get stock in the Sit Down Marks Podcast. I mean, that's a hell of a deal if I've ever heard one. I mean, you got me sold already, brother.
Well, you're the one giving up the stock, so
no stock off you. Like, you just get to sell some t-shirts, huh?
Dang right.
Oh man, it's good to have you here, brother. Finally on the Sit Down Marks Podcast, everybody. I'm excited, man, because I've had the pleasure of getting to work alongside this guy a lot. He's hardworking, man. He's hungry. He's really trying to make him name for himself out there. He's been on the grind for a while. You've seen him in ZOWA Live. You've seen him at Dreamwave Wrestling. He was in the Good as Gold Rumble back in 2024. So he's really starting to make a name for himself. And I mean, you're going to remember Kody Kaiser after this podcast because, there's no other gimmick like his in the world today. He's probably going to try to sell you something that you're not going to want, but he knows what you need, and that's why he's the man with the deals. And, he's currently carrying around some ZOWA Live Tag Team Gold right now. So we'll be talking about that later, but finally making it to the podcast, man. Welcome, Kody. Good to have you here, brother.
Thank you very much, DB. I'm really happy to be here. Been waiting for this for a long time and really excited. So
we have, man. We had this on the schedule for a while, and we're finally here, man. So early in your career, man. So how long in the business now?
So I'm gonna be going on 2.5 years. I think that's right. My gosh,
okay.
Full time.
Yeah, put a number on it, right?
But actually, so fun fact, I started training back in 2014.
Okay.
Brew City Wrestling, but then life got in the way and stuff. And then, so I got out of it, and then I got to give credit to Stumpy. He's the one that taught to me one day. And it's like, I can tell you're still passionate, tell you still got that drive. Told me to start training with ZOWA, and now here we are. Now everyone's stuck with me.
Right. And funny enough, guess who's on the podcast next week? Stumpy.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, cool stuff, man. So we'll talk about that later. So what part of the world are you from, Kody? Where do you reside? Where's the roots come from? Like, where is it that Kody Kaiser, was born?
Yeah, so I'm up here in Northwest Illinois from the great big city of about 1,200, Warren, Illinois.
Oh, yeah, good old Warren. Yeah, been there for some wrestling.
Yep.
Thanks to ZOWA Live, of course. Yeah. Northwest Illinois. So not too far from me down here in central Illinois. Was your family into wrestling growing up? Was anybody else into wrestling? You guys watch it as a kid? Sitting down on the carpet watching the TV on Saturdays or something. What was the childhood like?
Yeah, absolutely. So from what I know, my dad was pretty big back into it, back when he was in when he was little and then into high school, but then he kind of got out of it. And
Right.
no one really in my family. And then my brother actually around WrestleMania 22 time, him and his friend got watching it at his house. And then so my brother got interested and got the DVD of WrestleMania 22, brought it home. And I would kind of just catch glimpses of it, and all of a sudden just started watching. And then we were recreating it on the trampoline to pillows. And then we started wrestling with each other. And then that's where it grew and took off from there.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. So your favorite wrestler growing up, who was that one that you were, bouncing off the walls about, couldn't wait to see, thought was just cool as hell, whenever you were younger?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess a funny story first for my first memories of wrestling, because it's kind of related to one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
I used to be huge into the show Robot Wars.
Okay. I remember that.
They had a US version that was hosted by Mick Foley. And so that's all I knew Mick Foley from was from Robot Wars. And I don't know how it works for timeline wise, but all I know is one day going through the TV and seeing a clip of Mick Foley getting fired. And I remember going to my mom crying because I thought he was getting fired from Robot Wars. And my guess is it was one of his retirements with either trips or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's my earliest memory of wrestling, is not even to do with. But so yeah, Mick Foley, especially then with WrestleMania 22, his match with hardcore match with Edge, just fully bit me, and so that's kind of where it took off. But then obviously he wasn't around much after that. So then Rey Mysterio, being a young kid, he definitely had all my interests. The way he could move and big as a little dog, and
so that was kind of the moment that you said yourself, "I think I want to be a pro wrestler. I want to do that." Was that a moment, or did that come, later on, like, maybe when you seen, Undertaker do something crazy or something?
So that was a little bit. And then one of the first memories I can think of is when my brother and I created our characters was watching the Hardy Boys documentary that they had released, and just, how they showed all the clips of their trampoline wrestling. And that's kind of like, okay, we could do this. This is what I want to do. And,
they're brothers. We're brothers.
Exactly.
We can do this.
That's all we need.
Right. Yeah, I mean that is it, man. Just a trampoline, man. We're good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So, the family was cool with you guys messing around and and wrestling each other around the house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it always made my mom and dad nervous, but they for some reason, I don't know why, but we never really fought as brothers, my brother and I. And we kind of credit to always just for putting on the matches on the trampoline. We think that was our way of getting out all of our energy and our hatred toward each other, was beating each other up on the trampoline, and then we'd be fine.
Just taking each other's like sick ass moves. Like, I remember when I was younger, like I used to love to do, back then there were cutters, and now it's RKO, right? What I mean? But I used to love diamond cutting everybody, like, on the trampoline, because you could get that big bounce, you know what I mean? And super dangerous. Like, geez, right? 100%. Like, how did we not?
I always would do the RVD sell for it for some reason.
Oh, nice. Did you break anything? Did you ever break any bones?
I thankfully didn't. My brother broke one of his broke his tooth off the once trying to do a pedigree. My back end bounced up and hit him right in the face, and he got up. He was pissed. He grabbed it and chucked his tooth. And I'm like, "What are you doing?"
That's great.
So
So before we jump into training and and all that stuff and the journey, of pro wrestling, what does Kody do outside of wrestling, man? You got any hobbies? Is there a shoot job? What do you do?
So Cody's pretty busy, man. So my shoot job, I'm a civil engineer. I work for Fairgram Engineering in Monroe, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I do a bunch of bridge inspection. That's what I've been doing recently, and then road design and all that sort of fun stuff.
Heck yeah.
I'm also a mentor for a leadership program through our high school for juniors and seniors. So just yesterday we put on a mock accident for the high school and
oh wow,
crazy stuff like that. And then I'm also a fireman for the Warren Fire Department. So,
well, dang.
Yeah, third generation there.
So wrestling is kind of just something else that you do because you do so many things. Like, I mean, I always say fireman. That's like put your life on the line type of job. Like at any point. Damn man, I'm learning about you more. Too that things I didn't even know. Like, you know what I mean. So, but most time when I see you, it's day of wrestling. It's wrestling stuff. It's what I guess we do have some, you think we'd have a lot of time, to chat, but we're usually probably hanging up a light or putting a poster up on a wall or something, you know what I mean? Right. So, but damn, that's cool, man.
Crap the whole time. And
right. Yeah. Or going to get Nina's tacos or something,
Yeah, right.
So that's cool, man. So all that, man. Yeah. So you're a pretty busy dude. Right.
Yeah, I always laugh because I was busy in high school too, and then so when I went to college, my mindset was all right. I'm burnout. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get involved in anything. And then within 2 weeks, I was already in fraternity and a Residence Hall Association, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just bound to for life. So I knew once I graduated, it was going to be the same. And then, yep, here I am. But I love it. It's great.
Yeah, that's great. So you guys like mocked up a like an auto accident, and teenagers got to see what an actual accident would look like. It's supposed to teach them to drive safer. This is kind of what could happen. Like, y'all do some fake blood and all that stuff. Like,
Correct. We didn't do any fake blood this year. Okay. The kids didn't want to that were in it. So
sure.
But yeah, so we had it set up like a T-bone accident, and so. We had one fatality, quote unquote. And then we used like the fire department came and we did the jaws of life to cut them out. So that way the kids could see it. And then it actually worked out pretty well. I mean, not well, but one of the students, they knew a family from Iowa that had lost their daughters in a car accident. So they came and then talked to the kids after, and that seemed like it made a big impact on them. So.
Wow. Yeah. That's powerful, man. I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, I have a kid heading into junior high, I hope she sees all kind of that stuff when she gets in there. You know what I mean? So, but I know the local high school does that here too. I've seen it here. So that's super cool, man. Like, I'm an old cat. We didn't have any of that when I was growing up, man. We just had driver's ed, and they just kind of popped you on the butt and said, get in there, kid. You know what I mean? But
best of luck.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, true story. I ran over a chicken during my driver's education, but that's not here nor there.
Did he give you extra points?
He actually didn't, but he looked a little annoyed because feathers just go everywhere when you run the chicken. When you hit the chicken, you know what I mean. But in our defense, we were on like a backcountry road, and they were teaching me the ropes, and chickens just run where they want to. Man, he ran under the cars, so. But I was laughing. He actually got out to see if I killed the thing or not. It was pretty hilarious. It was 15.
You're just trying to simulate real world. That's
it was funny. And then back when you're in school, all the kids go back to school and they go, Eric hit a chicken in driver's ed. And they were like, what? You hit a chicken? You know what I mean? So they automatically think you're a bad driver. You know what I mean? So,
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great, man. So, all right, back to you, dude. Training. All right, so we decide, okay, we're gonna do professional wrestling. We're gonna do, we're gonna give this thing a go. And so rewind, man. So the first time you said you went to Brew City Wrestling, Beer City Bruiser up there, right? Brew City, yeah.
JP.
Okay, when was that?
So that was 2014 to beginning of 2015. So basically my entire freshman year of college.
Okay.
And then at the very end, I got mono, which was fun. Which basically the thing they said for that is, I didn't know your spleen grows like 3 times its normal size. So like any hit to it can cause it to explode. So I couldn't do anything physical for a year. Yeah, it was weird. Like if you laid down a certain way, you could actually feel it. Super gross. But so I couldn't do anything physical for a year. So that kind of put a damper on training. And I kind of like went and helped with a few shows. But like I said, I was in a fraternity. became president of the fraternity, was in Residence Hall Association, which is basically like a student governments group, became president of that. And so I'm like, okay. And with engineering school then too, it was crazy. So I'm like, dang, I'm like, hopefully someday I'll get back into it. But, and they were great. Frankie DeFalco and all those guys.
Yeah.
Sean Priest was one of those guys, and he's out there killing it now too. So it's Sierra. I remember Sierra's first day.
No doubt. Oh yeah, for real. It's true. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Yeah. So, and then you said there was a break, life gets in the way, yada yada. And then next time, you said you talked to Stumpy. If everybody don't know, Stumpy is real name Justin. He's been around the Midwest scene for a long time, old school. He is the owner and promoter of Homegrown Wrestling. He's coming on the podcast next week. We'll talk about that later. But he's been in Dreamwave a long time, back in the old days. And he's a big mentor to a lot of guys around here. He's won a lot of gold in ZOWA Live. So he tells you to go to ZOWA, right? And then what happens? So
I guess a little backstory behind that too is, so Stumpy grew up in Warren for part of his life. And so he knew my family and everything. We didn't really know each other. There's, enough of a year gap there, but I knew of him. I always laugh. I remember going on school to Wikipedia to Warren, and there'd be, hey, shout out RHA. I love it. But so I would go, where was I at here? Oh, I would go on Wikipedia, and I always remember seeing pro wrestler Justin Reifsick, aka Stumpy from Warren, Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, come to find out later down the road that he would always go into Wikipedia and add his name there, and they would always take it away, and then he would always add it back. So,
right.
Just crazy small world thing. But yeah, so he would actually hold some homegrown shows in Warren. And since he knew I trained at Brew City, he invited me to help out with a few, kind of do like a GM role and stuff. And then I got involved with a few matches, just take a few easy bumps,
Yeah.
And then, after one of the bigger shows he came up to me. He's like, I can see the passion still there. I can see the passions in your eyes. Like, you got to do this. I don't want you to, live your life without having that moment and have a match. And he was right. I definitely was something that was always kind of eating at me.
Sure.
So I got a hold of Zeke with ZOWA.
Right.
Went down there, and then Florida Man, or Bailey.
Florida Man.
Yeah. The man. The
That's
Florida Man.
Bailey. Love that guy.
Yeah. So he was my head trainer, along with Nina, or Jade Blackwell, and then Stone Stronghold was also in our class. So, class of 3.
Nice. So I was training, man. Bumps, running ropes.
Tell you what, I can tell there was 10 years between when I went in at 2014 and then when I went in 2022. Oh man, that hurt a lot more.
But, that's great.
It felt great to be back in the ring, and once we started kind of tying it into doing and then getting the matches, doing those, and especially when we finally got to do the promos the first time.
Yeah,
itching at the bit for that. If you can't tell, I kind of like the promo aspect of wrestling and the character work. So, so I kind of bit onto that, and training went well. It was fun.
Yeah. So you knew you were going to be stronger on the promo side for sure. You knew that was probably going to be your strong point going in, and you really leaned into that, and it's really been really. But what was brilliant to me is, a lot of guys come in and talk, but you have quite the spiel, and it's long, and I've heard it, and you say it, plenty of times, but still, I'm impressed that you remember all of it most of the time. You know what I mean? And you ad lib, and you know what I mean. And it's very well done, man. It's very well done on the wrestling side. It gets people engaged. The ZOWA fans hate you. You know what I mean? So,
I don't know why. I'm a nice guy.
I don't either, but that does mean you're doing your job. So, So, all right. So training, and it's time for our first match. Who's it against? Where at? Remember, tell me about your nerves, your butterflies, like all that.
So first one was, I'm going to go, behind the curtain. I was a golden boy.
You were.
I was a golden boy at
hood.
Wooddale, I think, Illinois, for their annual festival. And I teamed with 12 Gauge as part of the bank. So I had Shane Show as my manager. And then it was against Hatter and Bayou Bill, and Matt Hatter. So
when they were, what was their tag team name? The Drifters.
Yep, the Drifters.
Right. Yeah.
So, yep.
Nice.
So very nervous, obviously, going out. I taught quite a bit, actually, just because I knew that would kind of be my thing, even though I was under a mask.
Right.
Like you said, going in, I knew I was, already a few years older than some of the others. So I'm like, what's going to help me get ahead and what can I do? And then improve on the wrestling side also, but what will be my strength to work on. So, but that match was super fun. Actually went pretty well. Watching it back, so a little rough now for, seeing
knowing what you know and how far you've come, you know what I mean? But a tag team is good to be in your first match. You know what I mean? Because, you can watch, see how everything goes. You don't have to perform the whole time. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, so it's great.
12. So Shane Show was giving me CPR on the outside. So it was great. Perfect group of all four of them. The Drifters and then 12 Gauge and Shane Show. It was, couldn't ask for anything better.
So now you've wrestled a lot of guys, in ZOWA. You wrestled Hatter a lot.
That jerk.
Yeah, right. And but recently you got to mix it up with Christian Rose.
Yeah.
That had to fucking make you nervous. I'll say it. You know what I mean?
You're telling me, yeah.
All right. Like, I get it, man. Like, he's the gatekeeper. Of the Midwest, you know what I mean? He's like the measuring stick, you know what I mean? To me, it's like, you want to see where you are, wrestle Christian. He'll tell you, you know what I mean? And so, so what was that like, dude? I know you took some good chops from him. I remember watching it. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's, I once again, talk about Ray Patches, just taking the chops. So I'm like, if I can do it while I'm mic'd up or something, that might be awesome. So I'm like, I'll pitch that idea just that way, I'm like, because I know I'm going to get one, so might as well make it entertaining with it.
Yeah.
But talk about nerves. Obviously, having Hatter in there too for the triple threat made it a little bit easier because I, have worked with him a lot, like you said. Yeah. But man, it was a lot of nerves. Wondering, can I keep up? That was the biggest thing in my head.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're right. Measuring stick. One of the best in the area, or if not the country right now, especially if you look at all of his Dreamwave work, etc. So, a lot of nerves going out, but honestly, just kind of pitching different ideas to him. There's a clip we have on my Instagram and also on Facebook that we powerbomb Matt Hatter into a stack of chairs on the outside, and I go, "That away, baby! We did it!" And then I turn to look at him like, why aren't you high-fiving me? And then watch the right. Bang.
Boom.
So I pitched that idea, and he loved it. He was like full on board. And
yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. And
it's fantastic.
Thankfully, he had great words to say after. So
that's always good too, man, to see what he's going to say afterwards, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I had a conversation with Johnny Nitro the night he was at Dreamwave for a little while, and he had wrestled Christian, and like we talked for just a few minutes, and all he could talk about was how good Christian was now versus when he had wrestled him years ago. So that was pretty cool. I was like, well, that's validation right there. So that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get to the gimmick, Kody. So
what gimmick?
You're selling, right? Yeah, of course. How'd you come up with the Pitchman? It's kind of if I'm going to describe it, maybe like an infomercial inspired, deal driven. Some could even say that maybe you remind them of the ShamWow guy. Possibly. Have you heard this before? What's that?
You'll say wow every time.
You will. So, So how did that tell me the early beginnings of
Yep.
putting that together.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of those things came along very organically. So I was still kind of doing under mask stuff for, we were still kind of in training. And I got asked by Zeke to be in a Halloween costume battle royale. Kind of like, I don't know, it was pretty last minute. And so I'm like, what can I do for a costume? What do I have? And in college one year, I was always bad at preparing for Halloween costumes then too. The one day I was like, what would be really funny? Doing a sexy Billy Mays costume. Just because it was the dumbest idea I could think of. And so I had, full shirt open, had somebody draw the OxyClean logo on my chest.
There you go.
Yeah, dang right. The man, the myth, the legend right above.
There he is right there.
Yeah.
If you're watching right now on YouTube and Facebook, I got Billy Mays and the ShamWow guy pulled up on screen.
That should just be your background, I think, right?
Yeah. I mean, why can't we just have OxyClean up there? So
exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I definitely remember these guys. They were on my TV a lot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think the ShamWow guy's name was Vince Offer, if I remember right, which is kind of funny. He's
right.
got deals and offers, but
yep.
yeah. So, but it's original for sure. It's original. Nobody's wearing a headset.
Yep.
You don't have music, when you come to the ring, right? It's just, you're usually selling deals going to the ring.
There's like a background, kind of like what would be in an infomercial, just that background.
Okay. Yep.
Tune. But yeah, otherwise it's just me on the mic.
Nice.
So yeah, to finish that. So I went as Sexy Billy Mays for Halloween. So I still had that costume. So when Zeke asked me about it, I'm like, I could do that. That would be funny. So during the Halloween Battle Royale, I come out with the thing of OxyClean and as Billy Mays, just over the top, yelling at people, boy, do I have a deal for you, all that stuff. A few days later, Zeke reaches out to me and goes, I really like that. That should be your gimmick. And I'm like, never once thought of that as my gimmick, but you could maybe have some fun with that. So yeah, I'll give credit to Zeke. He was the one that originally tied it to it and then took the ball and got it rolling from there. Yeah. From those guys. And then especially with like the mic, especially when I throw it on in the ring and do my easy payments and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Inspiration from like when The Rock used to do on commentary and he would be talking and doing and wrestling. Same with like Booker T, the famous clip of TNA when he's in the ring with the mic and, Booker T's got him. Oh, Booker T's got him.
Yeah.
So, and I also always take from Paul Heyman's one that I always remember in an interview. He said about the most amount you can say your name, that way people will remember you. They'll associate you. And
true.
I got a live mic. You know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be saying my name every chance I get.
Right. And you literally get a live mic every time you go to the ring. So that's, that's pretty awesome.
I would say give credit to the promotions too for trusting me with this.
Yeah, right. I know, right. You won the fireweight title, in ZOWA. The fireweight title is it's kind of represented as the next up and coming new blood in ZOWA. Anybody that's ever probably held the heavyweight title held that one first. But so that was your first championship, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
That's cool. And the championship had its own headset too.
Of course.
I tried to find a good picture of that. I couldn't. I should have messaged you to send me one. But yeah, so it had its own headset too, which definitely has never happened before ever.
Not that I know of. That was the best looking belt I've ever seen, though. That's for sure. Best custom belt. Title, cool. Sorry. Belt holder. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mine's are titles.
And who did you beat to get that?
Mr. Everett Benton.
That's right.
Yep. Send him packing. Send him away. Got him out of here.
Yeah. Well, no, we haven't seen him since, have we?
No, we have not. I'll tell you what.
You just ending careers out here and shit.
Yeah, of course. That's what I do. That's what I do. I get my deals sell and I send them packing.
Right.
But no, I'll put over Everett real quick though. Man, what a talented. He's so good. so easy to work with. Some of my best matches by far, especially that Fireweight match. Anyone listening who hasn't seen it, go watch it. It's on IWTV. You can go watch it right now after the podcast and then go watch it.
There you go.
But yeah, what a match. So fun. So easy to work with.
Yeah. Let's put over Zeke, man. Like how important has, I mean, obviously, important, but how important and special has Zeke and ZOWA, been, to your wrestling career so far?
Oh, majorly. Besides for giving me my gimmick, or helping me realize it, just giving me that platform and the trust. I remember when I was still, before I had the gimmick, when I was kind of just more of a jobber, we did a tag match up by Chicago, and he needed somebody to fill in for the Fun Police because Dan the Man couldn't be there.
Yeah.
So for Fun Police Dan, and we were doing our entrance, and Zeke handed me the live mic and was like, "Here, got a promo." And I'm like, "All right, let's see how it goes." And so it wasn't anything long, but it was just that initial. And it's like, okay, he obviously sees something there that he trusts.
Right.
And then, it's just always giving me the opportunities, and holding the Fireweight title, and just always the encouragement. And super great guy, super great promoter. Especially if you look at just where ZOWA's at and the crowds we get, man's doing something right. It's awesome.
Yep, he is. Today on the Sit Down Mars podcast, we're talking to Kody Kaiser, wrestling's #1 Pitchman. I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. I want to thank everybody listening on Apple, Spotify, Audible, all those podcast platforms out there, and everybody listening on SportsWire Radio. So, Kody, tell me so far, man, what's your favorite match? When have you felt the best leaving the ring?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, we just talked about it, but probably that Fireweight title match with Everett.
Okay.
We had a lot planned. That was probably one of the longest matches I've had up to that point. And it was, if you know Everett, he's a very athletic man. And he had a lot of running spots planned. And I'm like, all right, this match will either be excellent or I'll die out there in the ring. One of the two. And we knocked it out of the park. Everything went just the way I wanted it to. And that was awesome.
That's great, man. It's great. So before we start talking about Dreamwave, I want to remind everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, and everybody listening too, after the podcast is over, Kody was in the 2024 Good as Gold Rumble at Dreamwave, and we're going to go back and watch that after the podcast is over tonight, and Cody's going to comment on it. So make sure you stay and check that out. And if you're listening right now, make sure you go check it out on the Sit Down Marks YouTube channel and go back and watch that. So,
dang right.
What was it like, man, to get a chance to wrestle for Dreamwave? You put in the work. I've seen you set up the ring countless of times, tear it down, and if anybody doesn't know, in Dreamwave, I'm the pre-show ring announcer, and Kody had finally worked his way up, and he got a shot on the pre-show match, and then his very next match was actually on the main card, was in the 2024 Dreamwave Good as Gold Rumble, and so we'll be watching that after this is all over with. But Kody, how was that, man? And you had a late entry too. You know what I mean? You were going in there, I think like 24, maybe. I think might have been your number.
25, somewhere. Yeah.
They said there's like 6 or 7 to go before you're about to come to the ring. So a lot of the rumbles all happen. You insert yourself, what was that like? What were the nerves like? It was sold out in there. It was nuts.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's the first thing is like, oh crap, we're actually doing this. I can hear the countdown. And just nerves going crazy. And then the biggest thing is too, like you said, I had that one pre-show match, but otherwise there's a good portion that have never seen me and don't know what I do. So it's like, okay.
And this stream was live on IWTV across the world. So, lots of people saw you for the first time, probably.
I think first time live, too, that I've ever been live on for wrestling.
Dope.
So it was, a lot of nerves. And will I be able to get this gimmick over? Will I be able to get it, moves? So I had most of what I had planned in my head. And all right, here we go. And so I started with my pitch. Of course, the high Dreamwave, Kody Kaiser, walked out,
Right.
and it was awesome. You can't see it in the clips, but in the ring, everyone's just stopped. Everyone's just looking at me, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And it was kind of quiet at first, but then as soon as I started getting the ball rolling, and then we'll see it, but get my first deal out there, oh man, they instantly hated me, and I'm like, all right, we did good. We got this rolling, and then it was just fun from there on out. And man, being out there with like Seven Wolf, and obviously Rose is in there too, and
yeah, Channing Thomas,
yes.
Sean Logan was in the ring when you got there.
Yep.
Yeah.
12 Gauge and Hunter,
man,
both them. So crazy to be.
That's great, man. That was awesome, man. That's awesome. You deserve it. I don't remember how you got eliminated, but we'll talk about that when we actually watch it here in just a little bit. Let's talk about what's next up at ZOWA, man. You got a match coming up here. It's the match. The card is called Certain and Severe. It's Saturday, May 3rd, 6 p.m. local time Central. Parties on Pope, which is the basically non-summer home of ZOWA Live. Cool venue in Nelson, Illinois. Love going out there and checking that out. Shout out to ZOWA for always supporting the Sit Down Watch podcast. And you are the current tag team champion, Kody. Let's put your partner up there on the screen there with you. Right. Chiron is your tag team partner, and together y'all are Cash Conspiracy. How's that, huh?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. What more could you ask for in the team? You got the strength, the fight, the will of Chiron, and then you got me, the mouth, the deals, the cunning, the edge, and just everything you could ask for. That's why we're tag team champions. That's why we wiped off the Superbuds of Stumpy and DTM.
All right.
And ZK47, he can do whatever he wants. I don't know if that counts as vacant in his quarter, or if that's right. Is that 3 or 4 question marks? Doesn't matter. All I know is that his pain and suffering when he loses to us is going to be certain and severe.
Oh, there you go. I see how you worked that in there. Yeah. So, is there any rumors? You have any speculation as to who AK-47's, vacant mystery partner, might end up being, or is he screwed either way?
Screwed either way, honestly. Besides, how is he going to find a partner? He's not Kody Kaiser. He doesn't know how to make deals to get good partners.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Say he can try all he wants. Who's going to want to face Cash Conspiracy? Not anyone I know of. Maybe you. How about you, DB? Maybe
What's
you
that?
can step in and be his partner.
I'm not. I might look stupid, but I'm not, man. I'm not teaming up with him because he don't even look like he could close the deal. So, I don't know if I'd want to be a tag team champion with him. I do know the kid's pretty athletic, and the ZOWA fans do. He gets a good reception, when he comes out. But
he does. He's very talented. But that talent's not going to carry him all the way to the tag titles. Maybe he could get Kyle Fields with them. That announcer guy who always says about how he beat me in a match. Listen to this. He says he beat me. He says he pinned me. He didn't pin me. He pinned my tag partner, Golden Boy, after we got in a spat and I was out of there. So put him in so I can beat him up.
Fair enough. All right, go check it out. Saturday, May the 3rd. Parties on Pope, Nelson, Illinois, ZOWA Live. Go see Cash Conspiracy beat up on ZK-47. And while we're talking about ZOWA too, man, I'm giving you the floor here. I know a lot of ZOWA fans are going to listen to this. They like to have their own little opinions about you. This is your chance to say something to them, and guess what? They can't say nothing back. So, anything you want to say to the ZOWA Live faithful?
Okay. ZOWA Live faithful, thank you for supporting me all this time. Thank you for booing me. I enjoy your boos. I eat them for breakfast. I like to stand out there, and when you can't hear me talk, that means I'm doing right. So keep on booing me. And here's the thing DB said about how, this is my time to talk because you can't respond. Well, guess what? Most of the time, that's what the situation is either, because I don't listen to you. Unless you're accepting my deal, I don't really care about what any of you say, because none of you will ever be Kody Kaiser. Only way you can be is by accepting my deals, in which I'm going to offer right now for just 17 easy payments of $12,999. Maybe you can be Kody Kaiser for a day. How's that sound? Huh? Yeah? You want it? Okay. Talk to me later.
Fair enough. All right, a couple more things, man. I'm going to get you out of here. So, pro wrestling, Kody, what do you want to do with it? What's the end goal? What do you want to do with wrestling here?
I would obviously dream is always WWE. I know it's a long ways away, but hey, we're gonna keep doing what we can. I would love to be a mainstay on Dreamwave. Start kind of having more, be on the main show more often, and kind of make my name there, especially because a lot of the guys from here in the Northwest, like you said, Stumpy was, Bucky Collins, and a lot of those guys, if you go back and watch clips, they came from this area too. So it'd be cool to make my name there. Keep going to being ZOWA. I want this. I love this. And maybe you can stay here, but also if it becomes a heavyweight title, you wouldn't hear me complain at all.
Of course. Yeah.
Keep getting out there. More companies, the better. And just make my name in wrestling. I want everyone to remember it.
Love it, man.
Also to love it and have fun on the way, which I'm doing. So
for sure.
All the guys I wrestle with, love them all. Even though I get to beat them up, that's maybe all right.
Right, that's a good thing. You can love
Usually
them.
they get to beat me up, actually. So.
I say it might be the other way around. They might enjoy touching you a little more. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're just glad everybody likes you. So, or you might be lucky everybody likes you. But you got a bucket list, man, of maybe a few people you'd like to wrestle that you haven't yet. And maybe want to put it out into the universe, and as they say, manifest it, that kind of stuff. But nothing crazy, but who would be the ultimate match, and then tell me who, maybe a couple names you'd like to wrestle in the indies.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess first names would just come off to mind. It's gonna be more of the indies, but having a singles match with Rose or even a program, I think that would be fun, because obviously we did that triple threat, but kind of just some more stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
I wrestled Hartenbauer as a face, but I think that would be a fun one to do as a heel as well. He's another one I look up to a lot. Bucky, we haven't really tangled that much, so I think that would be another fun one. So yeah, a lot of guys local.
Yeah.
12 Gauge and Hunter, I've never wrestled. So besides maybe in a Rumble, so both of those guys, Stephen Wolf. I did some stuff with Bobby Orlando in the Dreamwave Rumble. That was awesome. I would love to have a thing with him. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be hilarity right there.
Oh yeah, I always tell, especially Matt Hatter, that I'm not a comedy wrestler though. This is serious.
Right. But, and that goat would take some deals. I guarantee it would.
Dang right it would. I would make sure it would too.
Yeah.
That's cool, so no, guys like that, and then. I don't know if I really have anyone necessarily in mind. I mean, obviously there's a few that would be cool, but they're signed to bigger companies still. I know they do some shows, but probably anyone who, even Nick Nemeth, who would just wrestle on Dreamwave or somebody like that. John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, he would be another one. Anyone kind of from when I started watching wrestling from WrestleMania 22 on. To be a chance to be in a ring with one of those guys, like my childhood, would be crazy and awesome. That's one of the big goals now.
Love it, man. Do you ever film study, watch anybody? And that's promos, that's wrestling, that's do you take any moves from anybody?
Yeah, actually. So quite a few of my moves that you can see is made up from Edge and Christian. I don't know why it kind of took. I mean, Edge, I guess he's one that I do watch a lot of. He's one of the people I think that are best at facial expressions. He has a lot of showing you with just his face.
Sure. Yep.
So I always watch that and just kind of how he can tell a soul story with his face, and that's one thing I take a lot of. I always say for what my 4 would be for my wrestling Mount Rushmore would be Edge. For that reason, Foley for being able to connect with the people, get them behind him, Taker for longevity and just reinventing himself, and then Shawn Michaels for just in-ring work. And
awesome.
So, but what was the second part of that question? Oh, moves. Another one I love hitting now is the $1 Million Dream / Dream Street. So
or the Cobra Clutch, Sergeant Slaughter did, but that's great, man.
DiBiase because it's money and matches.
Yeah, Yeah, right.
Yeah, especially the DiBiase Jr. portion, the slam out of it.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. And yeah.
Nice. That's super cool. I like that. All right, buddy. We're gonna get you out of here on this. We're gonna have some quick hit questions for you, so maybe the people out there in Sit Down Mark Lane can get to know you better. Question number 1, man. What's the best deal you ever offered someone?
Oh gosh. It wasn't really a deal, but one of my favorites might be recently biased, but I said that we had a show at Adoption Center in Dixon, Illinois. And I said that they could, if they adopt a dog, all they had to do is give me their money. And the reason for this is because I know people of Dixon, Illinois are good at giving away their money. To people out there that don't know, they had a treasurer who stole over like $52 billion or $1 million.
Oh, man, you hit him with an inside joke, huh?
Oh, of course.
That's great. That's great.
So that's one that obviously might be recently, but
awesome. Yeah. All right, question number 2, man. Who's the worst wrestler to make a deal with?
Maybe Christian Rose. He hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
I just wanted a handshake or a high five, and he just wiped me out.
When you're on the road traveling to shows, what's your favorite road snack?
Ooh, I actually like a lot of fruit and like veggies.
Yeah.
So like blueberries, mango, and melons, and stuff like that.
All right. You into music, man? Yeah. You into music? Who's your favorite band?
3 Days Grace.
Okay.
My heart. Shout out SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
That's what got you that
soundtrack,
intro, right?
Man. That soundtrack.
It was fire, man. Have you ever considered doing any extra work for WWE or AEW?
Oh, I'd love to. I think that'd be so much fun. Yeah, absolutely. Have them call.
Yeah, right. Maybe they can cut you a deal, right?
Well, I would cut them a deal, but
is there any venue that you would feel like, hey, man, if I wrestled there, that'd be pretty sweet, any of the world famous ones or anything?
Allstate Arena by far.
Yeah,
obviously close by Chicago, but so many memories. Anytime wrestling's in Allstate, regardless what company, it's like, yeah, we're there. That's us. Like that's our home. Like that's even great. If I'm not there, it's like that's my people.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Probably a random one. Click. Adam Sandler's Click.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being a wrestler?
The entertainment aspects, the crowd, the reactions, the memories that they, take away from what we do.
Worst part about being a wrestler?
Probably the stiff body the next days. The bump.
All right, couple more, man.
The nerves. We'll go with the nerves.
There you go. Yeah. Much better.
That's a part of it. I don't care.
All right, couple more, man. We'll get you out of here. So, I think I know the answer to this, but you kind of already answered it. Billy Mays or the ShamWow guy?
Billy Mays, baby.
Billy Mays,
all the way.
All right, last one, brother. It's fucking WrestleMania week, dude. So we got to talk just a small bit about it, man. Let's get right to the main event, dude. Who you taking, Cena, Cody? What do you think's going to happen?
So first off, that's why I figured I was on, right? Because it's Mania week, so you had to get the best Mania draw.
I need ratings, bro.
Dang right.
Ratings, downloads, subscribes, all that.
So you bring on your top talent right here.
Can you get me a deal with some sponsorships for this joint?
Oh, of course. Anyone you want.
Tell them to call me. I'll pay you directly.
But yeah, Cena and Cody, man, who would have thought Cena would turn heel after all this time, especially in the ending run? He has to win, right? He has to be the one that walks away.
Man, the more 80% of me says yes, but 20% thinks like something screwy's going on and he'll just win it later. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he has to win at some point. I don't know. I think it might be fun to do, like have him win, and then you could have all year of, different people getting elevated to try and take it from him and lose it. And then something at the end of the year that, has him lose it to somebody, but then makes him a baby face at the end then too. So it'll be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. Are you like, if you like me, man, it's like the Super Bowl. So like I'm, food prepared each day, in front of the TV by like
15 till time, and it's an event at my house now. It's a 2-day event. God bless my wife, but
yeah, right. So actually, since 2019, excluding the COVID mania, my brother and I actually have been to all of them, but we're not going to this one, sadly. Just falling on Easter, and then prices have kind of got insane. I need some more deals.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's kind of been our thing. That's been our vacation, was going to Mania. So, but yeah, now that we're back this year, it's going to be way early, probably beginning of the pre-show, even though there'll be nothing really on it, and just all the way through.
I've only been to one. I went to 2016 Mania 32 in Dallas. Roman and Triple H. Yeah. Zack Ryder won the IC title.
Yep.
Brock versus Ambrose.
Women's triple threat. Charlotte.
Yeah.
Shane and Taker in the cell.
Shane and Taker, he jumped off. Yeah. It was good stuff. Ryback.
Kalisto, right?
Yeah, Kalisto pre-show. Yes.
Yep. US title.
I was like one of probably 100 people that watched that match because we got in and then the ticket scanner shut down. It's a big story from that.
I was gonna say I remember that because I feel like if you watch it, there's no crowd, so that's good you got in for it.
Yeah, man, I got to see it. It's pretty funny. So, oh man, want to remind everybody, hang tight. Right after this, we're gonna watch the 2024 Good as Gold Rumble, Kody's appearance. And Kody, I want to thank you, brother, for being on the podcast today, man. It was finally great to get to talk to you and chop it up, man. I want to thank you for your hard work at Dreamwave, man. Any opportunities that you get there are well deserved, and I hope you continue to get them. And looking forward to seeing you more on Dreamwave shows, man. And so go ahead and plug those socials, man. And obviously you're going to be May the 3rd, Certain and Severe. If there's anything else you want to plug, man, go ahead and shout it out.
First off, major props to you. Major thanks to you, DB. Really appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast.
Of course.
Love it. Love everything you do. Appreciate all you do for me. At all the different shows and stuff, and allowing me to give you crap while I'm on the mic out there too, because that's fun too.
Yeah. Let's talk about that because I don't know that we ever really. Well, there was one time I think that we talked about it, but yeah, you tend to if I'm the pre-show ring announcer or involved in some way, Kody comes out, he'll shit on my podcast or shit on me or something like it. Fucking great. I love it because it's always random and it comes, and then I'm kind of looking around and going, well, he did it again.
I got to sneak it in somehow.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. I love it. Don't stop doing that. It's great. Great.
Don't worry. I will.
I know you won't. I know you don't need permission. So yeah, it's great.
Perfect. Well, that's what I like to hear. Yeah. I would say I love just randomly in the middle of then I see you pointing out. The one was like, and if that stupid Mark over there would just sit down.
Right. Yeah. I was like, well, yeah, he's definitely talking about me. All right. Well,
dang right.
That's great, brother. No, but yeah, definitely, brother.
So but thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate all you do. People can find me, their favorite pro wrestling pitchman, at Facebook. I have Kody Kaiser -- Pro Wrestling Pitchman. That's my one where you can follow and keep up to date with all my stuff. I'm also just on Instagram. You can follow my normal account, Kaiseramp. And yeah, that's what I got so far. I'm sure I'll get more eventually. Not always the best with social media, but you can find me there. Just give me a shout and I'll respond to you eventually.
There you go. All right, everybody. Go buy a ticket. See wrestling's #1 pitchman, Kody Kaiser, at ZOWA, the current tag team champion. He's hauling gold with him. And, maybe for the right price, he might let you take a picture with him. Might. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But get on out to ZOWA May the 3rd. Certain and Severe. It's going to be a big show. Thanks again, Kody, for being on the podcast, brother. I am the Dirty Bird for us here. We are top guys, and we are out. All right, for everybody that stayed with us on YouTube and Facebook, we're about to watch Kody's entrance here in the 2024 Good as Gold Rumble at Dreamwave. I think, like I said, I think Kody was about 24 coming in here. And when I'm about to hit play, and as soon as I hit play, the countdown was already started. So, Kody, just kind of, talk about your entrance, your nerves, what you were thinking during this time. And let's have some fun with this. And, obviously talk about your elimination here. So,
yeah.
You're going to feel real awful if it is.
Right away, you'll hear here in a second. If you can hear the sound,
it could be anybody.
Hello, Dreamwave.
Oh, son of a bitch! No!
Listen to Fields.
I love it. Fields put me over so big.
Kody Kaiser. Kody Kaiser.
There he comes.
Look at it. You can see my fingers shaking from there.
Right.
So, yeah, just trying to do what I can out here.
There you go. There's that feedback.
Yeah.
As loud as I can. Trying to make it up as I go. So yeah, usually I have a little bit planned, like some key notes I have and I want to hit, and then the rest I just try and improv out there while looking
Kody
at
Kaiser is pro wrestling
vibe from people. That's one thing I took from Mr. Havens, Cole Havens. He's one I always love his promos, and he told me that he just takes it as he goes out there. That's how he does it. So I try to implement that.
Yeah.
Right here, you can see me start my deal. I'm going to try and offer up my own version of the Good as Gold briefcase to everyone. Oh, yeah, the 23.99 karat gold briefcase that I have.
Not quite 24.
No, of course.
We got Thomas in trouble.
And so right here, some kids started yelling at me, so I'm like, all right, we got it. I know I got time. I'm going to feed into these and get them. These kids hate me for some reason. I don't know why.
1993. Sorry, no CODs.
So this is you introducing yourself to the Dreamwave fans. Like I said, he had been on pre-show before. This is on the main card. This is a live stream. This is him first time being on, and he's getting his. You're getting it in here, and here's some booze. You're also being very clever or strategic about not getting in the ring yet, too.
Focus on anything in the ring because Kody
I want to get in as late as I can. I want to win.
So look who's in the ring right now. You got Christian Rose, Channing Thomas, Stephen Wolf.
See those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bobby Orlando over there on the corner.
Sabotage in there. I don't want to deal with that.
Oh, here comes Hunter.
Here I hear Mr. Hunter Holdcraft coming out. What a perfect man to make a deal with, right? He could help me win. Have you seen the muscles on that kid? His muscles have muscles. So you can see me thinking right here. This is the man I want to make a deal with. That's what I thought, at least.
Right, you'd hoped.
Yeah. And then this jerk. See?
So you're just trying to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, just trying to get down. Look right there. Handshake is all it takes. That's what I always say. Handshake is all it takes.
No.
And now I'm in. And here's that idiot 12 gauge on the other side. So I'm like, okay, well, hopefully, maybe I can make a deal with him. Maybe. His partner didn't, but, maybe I can create some beef there. No. Now he's back in behind me. And
my anniversary was coming up. That doesn't matter. That's why your fingers are green. Maybe.
Oh, that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
you probably still got marks from that on you.
Yeah, Sean Logan doesn't like it.
Here comes America's Boyfriend Sabotage.
Yep.
Nope, not today.
Not today, sir.
Goes quickly from that Pitchman to something
I had him there.
when things don't go his way.
Another guy.
Right now,
too much muscle.
Crossbody was reversed.
But guess what? I'm always thinking, baby. I'm always thinking.
That's right.
Kaiser raking the eyes of Logan. Dropping the
Rake the eyes can't be illegal, right?
Right.
They can't be getting disqualified. I'm just
Right.
using what I have to my bill. Oh, here we go.
Here's Bobby.
Well, here's the goat of deal.
Here's where I'm thinking. I can make a deal with Bobby Jr.
He's trying to make a deal with a stuffed animal.
Well, hold on. Let's see if Bobby Jr. shakes his hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he hit you with Bobby Jr.?
Yeah, right in the eye.
Yes, he is.
I thought it was pretty uncalled for. I think Bobby Jr. was taking the deal, honestly.
Yeah, I think he probably didn't like that he was negotiating with you too much.
Exactly. I think he was getting jealous, honestly.
So it's time for the next entrant.
Yep.
I think this is 26.
So yeah, like you said too about being in this late. When I found that out, I was like, oh, like okay. Especially, a lot of the other guys, that are kind of around my experience and stuff were in a little bit earlier. And then I was in this late, and I'm like, okay, well, cool.
Right.
See what I can do.
And you had to watch a good amount of the Rumble before you got to do your entrance.
Yes.
Yeah. That's nerve-wracking to a wrestler.
Yeah. Especially, it seemed like it took forever. We were
sure
standing there, and I'm like, not even to 10 yet? I'm like, oh, no.
Right. Yeah, these Rumbles take time, man,
Yeah. Oh, I love them. They're so fun. But,
I do too.
Yeah, so right here, I'm trying to work with Xavier.
Okay.
And we're trying to get out Bobby, and of course now he's using the goat again.
Last Goodness Gold Rumble caused major rifts amongst
I think that should be
that
illegal.
really were never repaired.
Absolutely not.
I agree.
Talk about all the
Yeah.
success that Fowler has had. Not
So
under
here's soon, I think it's a little bit. So
Hunter Holdcraft tried to
we
eliminate
knew,
Stanley as the hype
or
and the
so,
new guys.
we were trying to keep an eye on Rose because we had a feeling that he might do something to us. But I ended up and I was like, oh, I actually have right here a little more time than I thought. So I started getting in my easy payments right here. I'm like, you know what?
Right.
I got the opportunity.
Easy
Might as
payment.
well. So I obviously have the mic, but you can
Right.
hear me. I was shouting it. The curtain out was booing me like crazy. I'm like, heck yeah.
So your easy payments are like stomps in the corner, stomps in the mud, like they call them. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Oh.
so anyone who doesn't know, yeah. So I call them my easy payments, get them
Right.
down in the corner, and 1 easy payment, 2 easy payments, 3 easy, and keep going.
Yeah.
Because everyone loves the easy payments.
It can only be Berna.
Well,
Berna.
just threw something into the crowd.
In at 27, I think.
Yep.
As soon as
You're still in there, still hanging around. You're mixing it up with Aaron Xavier and Bobby,
Yep, trying to get him out.
trying to eliminate Bobby.
Yep. Aaron and I.
You've been in a few good minutes now.
Yeah. Like I said, especially for getting thrown in when I wasn't ready.
Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Of course.
Take a lot of his aggression out on Berna.
Things take time. It's preparation.
Yeah, Burn is insane. That man, I tell you,
Yeah, man. Energy.
literally.
So you're still trying to eliminate Bobby over there. Lots are going on here.
Yep.
Steven and Christian are going at it.
I say I had a little bit of interaction with Stephen Wolf, and that was crazy. Like, because I had just seen. Oh, well, wait, we're here. We're okay. You don't see it, but right here, I'm talking with Xavier, and I've made the save for him. And it cost me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I tried to save him here. You can't really see it. I tried to reach up, and he just fell right on me.
They just fell off.
Yeah. We were trying. I thought I made before him a good partnership there, good deal.
Yeah. Well, apparently Aaron doesn't know a good deal when he sees one. So
must be the only time in my life when a deal hasn't went my way.
Yeah. So that was your 2024 Good as Gold Rumble experience.
It was crazy.
Yeah, right. I mean, you had to be pinching yourself a little bit heading into that, like, wow.
Yes, it was 100%. Especially, I mean, because growing up, I mean, it was kind of down there, but I didn't know a whole lot about Dreamwave and stuff. So when I found out how big this company was, and then to do one pre-show match and then beyond, it was blowing my mind.
Yeah.
One of those I texted my brother right before, like, all right, here we go.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
My brother and I still obviously have a huge connection with wrestling. And
yeah.
Shout out Colton.
Yeah. Was he watching live that night?
I think so. He better.
He better be, right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Kody. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being on.
Hey, thank you, DB. Appreciate you.